Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. I'm so excited to have you here with me because today we're going to have some fun. I want to check the chat really quick. I see Jill was here. I hope you see this. I can't make it to your live today. Oh, that's okay. I'm visiting a neighbor who was in rehab for several months because of a diabetic ulcer. Ooh. On his feet and lost 1 foot. Oh gosh, I will watch the replay. Well, we are sending our well wishes to your friend, and I think that's very honorable that you're going to be, helping someone out. So thank you so much. Hey, Mona, how are you? Good to have you here. Hi, John Jew. Hi, just an advance notice. Leaving, no worries. You guys come and go whenever you can. I love having you here. And of course, the replay is always available. So anyways, I just want to say hello again. And I just wanted to tell you guys that I'm really excited about today because we're going to be diving into something that's, both fun and delicious. And as you notice, it's pizza, but not just any pizza, right? Today, I'm going to show you how to make a gluten-free red lentil pizza, and it is going to knock your socks off. So we're also going to be exploring like all things pizza. I want to talk a little bit about the history, some unique pizza toppings from around the world, and why pizza in America is often pretty unhealthy. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make it healthy, plant-based, and totally delicious, right? Because, I'm a big pizza fan. So we'll give you all kinds of healthier ingredients, alternatives. It's going to make the pizza delicious and satisfying. And of course, we're going to have fun along the way. So let's get started. I do want to just take a minute and I want to say hello to Judy. So good to have you here. She usually watches the replay and isn't available for lives. And so I welcome you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So as you see, I have a bunch of stuff all over my counters, behind me, on both sides. I've got the oven preheating. There's a pan over here. There's just lots of information here. And we are going to, we're going to be using that to make our pizza. But before we get started, I wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of take a quick journey back in time and learn a little bit about the history of pizza. Because it's really actually a very fun and fascinating story. So anyways, Judy says, I'm glad to finally be here. Yes, and we are glad to have you as well. So I just want to say pizza in its earliest form, I understand, actually dates back to ancient civilization. So the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, they were all making some sort of like a flatbread and topping it with different ingredients. And so while it wasn't quite pizza like that we know today, it was definitely a precursor to it. And so an example of that might be the ancient Greeks. They baked a flatbread, and I hope I don't butcher this. It's called plakis, right? Is it plakis? Which was topped, so they had that flatbread and they topped it with herbs and cheese and even garlic. I love garlic. You guys love garlic? I actually put a video up yesterday about black garlic, and so you should totally watch it if you haven't already. It's a good one. And anyways, oh, hi, Karen. You crave a good pizza, whole food, plant-based. Yay! I'm so glad. And we are going to be doing that today as well. So getting back to what I was talking about, the Romans, so we talked about the Greeks. Now we'll talk about the Romans. The Romans had something similar, baking flatbreads, and they would top it with cheese and honey. But it was in Naples, Italy, like in the 1700s. So that is about the time when pizza started to become and look like what we call pizza today. Now, what was kind of interesting and funny to learn is that they were adding fresh tomatoes, which had at the time only recently made their way into Europe from the Americas, and cheese as well, right? So the tomatoes were actually considered poisonous at the time until they were, proven safe. And then once people discovered their flavor, well, then, pizza really took off in a big way. And so pizza began to spread when the Italian immigrants brought it to the United States, and that was in the late 1800s to the early 1900s. So the first pizzeria in the U.S. is called Lombardi's. Anyone familiar with that? It opened in New York City in 1905. And marking the beginning of pizza's widespread popularity across the country. And from there, it went to different regions, and it started making their own different, versions of pizza. Now, that pizza place in New York City, Lombardi's, it's still there today. So I don't know, has anyone been there or, had it before? Let me know in the chat. But some of the other unique versions of pizza that became very popular, like Chicago, they have a deep dish. They call it Chicago deep dish. And then also New York came up with the thin crust. So there's the thin crust, the regular, and all these different kinds. I just want to check the chat, and I see, hello, good to see you. Court. Anyways, so now pizza is enjoyed all around the world. And in some places, it actually, as odd as this might sound, it's considered a luxury meal. I don't know. I guess. I never thought of that. But it's interesting, since pizza in Italy was originally made to feed workers and the poor. So now somehow that turned around and it became a luxury meal. Interesting, huh? But despite its worldwide fame, like pizza, it still has its roots where? In Italy, where pizzerias stay true to the original recipes and ingredients. So here's a fun fact. I don't know if anybody. So did you know that the margherita pizza, right? A classic Neapolitan pizza made with tomatoes. It's made with mozzarella and basil. It was named after Queen Margherita of
Savoy.
I always mess that up. In around 1889-ish, it was said that color of the pizza was supposed to represent the Italian flag, which their flag is red, white, and green. And so found that out through the Smithsonian magazines. So here's a question for everyone, and I'd love to hear your input. Can you guess how large the world's largest pizza was, and where was it made? Anybody take a guess? How large is the world's largest pizza, or how large was it, and where was it made? So while we wait to see if anyone wants to take a stab at that, I'll say, now, why pizza is often unhealthy in America. We could talk about that. Well, now that you know a little bit about the history of pizza, let's talk about why, especially the way it's served here in America, in the American restaurants, it can be pretty unhealthy. So I love pizza just as much as the next guy, but we have to understand why it might not be the best choice in our health journey. And so in the United States, pizza is often made with white flour to make the crust. They use tons of cheese, fatty meats like pepperoni, and then they're processed, right? Sausage, bacon, and it's a heavy meal, and it's packed with calories and saturated fat and sodium. And one single slice of a standard pizza from like a regular, pizzeria can have, I don't even know how many, hundreds, plural, of calories. And so it's really easy to, eat an entire pizza in one sitting, or eat more than you should. And then that's when the calories really start to add up. And not to mention all the fat and all the other things that, are not good for us. And And because of that combination, it makes you want to eat more, right? So many American pizzas also use a lot of processed ingredients. So the cheese is typically made from the cow's milk. It's which is, not good for us in any way. And there's a lot of it is processed. It's loaded with artificial additives. And then we could talk about the pizza sauce. So that's sometimes often filled with sugar. Crusts are made with refined flours, which we mentioned, and everything seems to be stripped of its nutrients. And so it's these processed ingredients that really make pizza less than ideal choice for our health. So, Todd, do we have anybody that is talking about answering the question above?
We do. So, Core Scorpy cheated and used Google.
Oh, okay.
Mona took a shot at it by saying it's got to be New York City, but she doesn't know the size.
Okay.
And Core Scorpy is disqualifying himself for his use of Google.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay, so here's the answer. The world's largest pizza was over 13,500 square feet. That's like, think of that in terms of your size of your house, right? And it was made in Rome in 2012. And the best part about that, it was gluten-free. Yay! Oh my gosh. But that record was recently broken in Los Angeles in 2023 by a pizza that was over 13,900 square feet. But I don't believe that one was gluten-free. It didn't mention that. So, but it was sourced through the Guinness World Record. So, oh my gosh, what do you guys think about that? Pretty crazy.
That's a lot of pizza.
That's a lot of pizza. So anyways, that's enough talk about unhealthy stuff, right? I want to make a healthy version that we can all enjoy. And so the crust that I'm going to show you is packed with protein and fiber and healthy nutrients, and it's easy to make. And here is how we do it. So we're going to make the crust, we're going to make a sauce, and we're going to talk about toppings. And so let me just get set up there for a minute. So I just want to say, hi, Lisa. So good to have you. I was listening on my drive home. Oh, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna get serious now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a red lentil crust. And so what I did was I took red lentils, and I used these organic red lentils and quinoa. I used white quinoa, and these are what the lentils look like. It's hard to see with the glare, but I'll show you. And what I did was I put a cup and a half of red lentils in a container. This is a container, and a half a cup of quinoa. And then I've been soaking it for 5 hours. That is like, so if you were going to want to plan to make this, you could either get up in the morning, soak it, and then you'll have it for dinner, or, whatever. So, but that's how you want to do it. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to, now that it's been soaking, we're going to strain it and rinse it, which I'm going to try my best. I might be off camera for a minute, but I'm going to bring this bowl over here. And so I'm going to pour it in here over the sink and rinse it. And if anybody has any questions or anything you want to ask, feel free. Todd is available, and so am I. I'm just kind of over here on the side so that I can get this going, because I really wanted you to see all the steps.
Lisa is super excited about this recipe. She's got both of those ingredients.
Ooh, yay, that's awesome. That is awesome, definitely. I'm excited too, because I want to know what you think if you decide to make this. And I'm going to teach you so much. I'm just scraping out the bowl here, and I will be right with you. So did anyone else have any other guesses about the world's largest?
There were no other guesses.
No. Okay. So if you're watching at home, maybe you have your own guess, and you can put it in the chat or in the comments below, and that would be super fine too. Okay, so I've transferred everything into this colander strainer, and now I'm just rinsing it. I want to rinse it off. And so just take your time to rinse.
Why are you rinsing it off?
Because it's a lentil. And so I want, sometimes you don't have to, but I really like to because I think it helps like with the gassy part of, eating beans and lentils.
Oh, okay.
There's a compound that if you soak it and then you rinse it, it can help with that. So if that's a thing that you need to be concerned with, that's why I like to do it. Okay, so, and let me just bring this over here. So now you see that it's rinsed. And so I'm just letting it drain a little bit more in here. And we're basically not going to put it in the bowl yet. I'm going to mix everything in my NutriBullet. You can mix it in anything that you have we want it blended up pretty well. Could you use your Vitamix or high-speed powered blender? Yes, I think you could. I've done it with the immersion. It just doesn't get it creamy enough for me. So if you're okay with that kind of a rustic texture, you could use that. But I have found that I have really good luck just putting it in this. And this particular recipe exactly fits right into this container. So that's the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just carefully, let's see, I'm going to carefully scoop it in here. And that will take me a couple of minutes. And then to that, we're only going to add a couple of things and blend it up. It's a really simple recipe, but it's so good. So I'm excited.
Is there a reason you use red lentil versus green or yellow or whatever other colors lentils come in?
Yes, good question. So the red lentils or the lighter colored lentils are softer. And so they blend up better. They don't hold their shape. Whereas the green or the black or brown, those darker ones tend to hold their shape. So if you're making a soup or a stew or something where you want it to hold its shape, that would be the way to go. But in this instance, I don't want it to hold its shape. I want to make it into something magical. So, yeah. And look you're not supposed to fill your NutriBullet past this certain line, but once it looks like it's going past the max line, but once I get a couple more things in here, it actually works out really well. I've done it several times. And so if you're going to double the recipe, well, then you're going to have, and using this, you're going to have to do it in batches, I would say. And I'm just getting that. Oh, I hate to waste. So I'm getting every little last drop in here that I can anyways. Okay. And then I'm just going to do this. And to this rinsed soak concoction here, let me move this out of the way. We are going to add a couple of things. So we're going to add some apple cider vinegar that I already have here. And I have 1 tablespoon right in there, 1 tablespoon. And then I'm going to want some plant milk. So I'm using the unsweetened soy milk. You can use any unsweetened plant milk that you'd like. And I have a 1.5 cups here. This is the one that I'm using. Some people, you can use almond, you can use the rice, you can use oat, and any plant milk. So I'm just going to add that right in here. Gently, slowly, so that it will go in there without overflowing. Oh my gosh, right to the brim. And that's it. That is what we're going to start mixing up here. Let me get these last little goodies in here. And hopefully, all right, so let me plug this in. I could put my ears on, but I think I won't because it's not too bad. And then what I like to do after I screw it on really well, if you're using this, is I like to shake it up a little bit. And then we're going to blend it for a minute, take a break, check it, and then probably blend it a second time, and that's it. Here we go. Okay, I know there was no music, but it's in my head. It could be in your head too. So, I want to just use my muscles, open it up. I want to take a peek, and I probably will have to do, whoa, there we go. There we go. And that came off, so I'm going to have to fix that. But it is looking really good. I do want to blend it a little bit more. You can see, I'm going to see if you can see. It's kind of grainy, and we don't want it grainy. So I'm going to go one more time, which is what I thought I was going to do. And have any of you tried to make a pizza crust like this before? Let me know, let me know. Okay. And I see Marilyn has joined. Hello and welcome. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way. We are done with this part of it. And hopefully that looks pretty good. So you just want to go until it looks nice and blended, which this looks pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Okay. And so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to transfer this into a bowl. Da, 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 da. All right. Here's the bowl. Okay. And now what we're going to do is pour it in here. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty, you guys? Looking like dough. Now, yes, because they were that, orangish color, there is going to be that orange kind of a tint, but it doesn't affect the flavor at all. It's going to be great. So I always like to use this spatula. It's one that I got at Vitamix because it does an amazing job of scraping out my NutriBullet. And so if that's something that you are like trying to figure out, you got to check it out. This is a great spatula. I don't know if you can link it or whatever, but okay. So now what we have here is, this is ready to go almost, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to add some seasonings to it. I've got already here a bunch of seasonings, and what I have is granulated onion or onion powder. I have garlic powder, and I have Italian. It's an Italian blend. If you don't have Italian, you can use Italian seasonings like basil and thyme, rosemary, oregano, all of those. But I like to have a blend. It's really nice. And so we're just going to pour all of that in there. And as far as the amounts, let me tell you, I have them here. So I had 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Okay. And so now I'm just going to hand stir that in here. And, I like adding some flavor to my crust. Now, if you do a little bit of sodium, if you like a little bit of salt, this would be the time to add it. But I don't think you need it. But, if I was going to put it in for someone, I would do anywhere from 1/4 of a teaspoon to 1/2 a teaspoon, and that would be, max. But don't worry if you just want to skip it. You're still going to enjoy this. And so you could see, I don't know if you could see, there's some little, you could see the seasoning in here. There's little granulates. Okay, so now the last thing that we're going to do before we start to turn this into sauce is I've got some psyllium husk, okay? And this is the one that I use. It's a powder. And you can get it in its whole form. If you do, then you're going to want to use a coffee grinder or some kind of grinder, and you're going to want to grind it and make it into a fine powder. And this is 3 tablespoons. Now, why didn't I mix it in earlier is because I don't want to overmix the psyllium husk. I just want to gently put it in here. And so I wanted to wait until everything else was done. And then I'm just going to gently, I am going to incorporate it, but I just don't want to keep mixing it. So that's it. That's our crust. And so let's just finish mixing this up. Oh man, isn't this great? I mean, so simple, right? The hardest part, and it's not hard at all, is just to remember to soak that stuff a little earlier before you need it. And that's it. Here we go. So I want you guys to see that, this is kind of doughy. And all these things here are toppings that we're going to do. So now I want to show you how I create it to get it going here. So behind me, I have all of these crusts. I'm going to talk to you about them in a minute. But in the meantime, I'm using this pizza pan. You can use a cookie sheet like this. And no matter what, I line it. So you can line it with a parchment paper, or you can line it with a Silpat. It doesn't matter. And this is going to this is not a big pan. This is the, I don't know. This is like a standard size, right? And this one is a little bit smaller. And I think I have another one that's even a little bit smaller. So, these are more like, I don't know, like a family size. I didn't measure these, so I apologize. But I like to do smaller ones so that people can either individually make their own, which can be really fun because you can have like a bar or whatever, or, you can freeze some of it. But I would say that you could probably get about 4 or 5 thin small crust pizzas out of this. And so I'm going to take my rings off. Here are a couple of ways to do this. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use a little bit of water, but you don't have to use it. You could do, like I have ground millet or ground oatmeal flour. You could use almond flour, but I really wanted to stay away from the flour. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to pour however much I think I'm going to need here. And for each pizza, and I'm going to take a rolling pin. I really like this wooden rolling pin, but I do not want to go directly on it the way it is because it will be a sticky mess. So the secret is get your hands, if you're going to use your hands or the rolling pin, get them wet. So let me do that. And you don't have to, it's just literally, just get it a little bit wet. See, and then it doesn't stick. Look at that. And then I just like to gently, I'm not pushing down, I'm holding it up. I just like to gently roll it out. And here's the thing. If you like a crust that is kind of thicker and doughier, you could actually add some baking powder when you were mixing it in with the seasonings. But because that will cause it to rise just a little bit. And I do have a sample of it that way. But I found that I didn't really need that. So I went away with that. And instead, I just try to put it to the thickness that you want it. And sometimes it's hard to tell. And I think from the psyllium husk, it can cause it to rise just a little bit. So no big deal though. So I'm taking my time. It's very therapeutic. You can do this with somebody or not. If the pizza crust seems to be like, oh, I don't have enough, go ahead, add some more. It's very forgiving, especially when you wet it a little bit with the water, which I just over pushed that. So just gently do this. And then you can even shape it a little bit. I think I'm going to put a little tiny bit more to this one. And see, you can kind of create your own shape here. It's really fun. It's fun. And my hands are a little wet still, so it's very forgiving. If they're not wet, go ahead and just dab them back in to a little bit of water. Let me just rinse this again. Now, what if you don't have a rolling pin? Okay, you can use a glass. You can use your hands, which I've done. And this is coming out pretty nice. I tend to take my time. Any questions going on there, honey?
Nope.
No. Well, what do you guys think so far? I just want to put a tiny bit more in just to make it a nicer shape, and then this is ready to go in the oven.
You had asked a question earlier. Has anyone made a lentil pizza crust before?
Yeah.
Lisa says, no, I haven't tried to make pizza crust, so I haven't had pizza in years.
Ooh.
And then Judy said, no, she tried cauliflower years ago, but not successfully. So hopefully this changes that.
Do you know what? I tried cauliflower before.
And?
I mean, I love cauliflower. I don't want to give cauliflower a bad name, but it wasn't my favorite, you know? Something about it just didn't make me feel like it was the right fit for me. And I have made a pizza crust before. You can check on my channel out of potato. And that one is really good. But I actually had a friend who not too long ago said, you know, she tried the pizza potato crust that I made. And she said, it's good, but I want something that's really like bread. Let me know when you come up with something. So I would love feedback to hear what you guys think. I'm going to call this done. I'm going to rinse my fingers just to get the remnants off. And so here we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees. You're going to put it in for 30 minutes. 15 minutes into it, take it out and check it out. You can, you don't have to. I tend to like to flip it for the last 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. Let's see how far we get. I'm going to put it in for 30 minutes. And then we're going to get into the sauce. But before I get into the sauce, I do want to talk to you about some of these crusts that I have here. And we're going to use some of these also. So let me just show you a few things that I have here. Okay. I've been busy. So let's see. I think it was this one. This one I did actually in my Breville oven. And these, you know, usually will fit one of these smaller pizza dough pans. So this one I did with baking powder, and it looks a little bit thicker. I also flipped it halfway, and this is ready to go. So I have that one. This one I did this morning. It's thinner than this one. Let me see if I can show you the thickness, the thinness. Let's see. And this one was without the baking powder. Same thing. You can flip it. Looks great. I like it in the round. I also use this cookie sheet here, the baking sheet, because what if you didn't have that kind of pan? So I made some odd shapes, right? And I just, you know, had some square ones. Look at this. And I could put 2 on here at a time. That's what I did. And so this one, let's see. These are, you know, a little bit thicker. You can see. These are more like regular pizza dough. And then I have these over here, which I did yesterday, these 2. And these are with the baking powder. And you could see these are a little bit thicker, too thick for my liking. I'd prefer them thinner, and that's why I realized I had to, I was trying to force using the dough. Get all the dough on here. No, just make more pizza crust, right? So I have all of these to share with you. And then, let me just see here. And then this one, I wanted to try to not use the water and try to use, and I use the oatmeal flour to see if I could get it to not stick. And it's okay, but look, now I have this, flour on here. So whatever way you want to do it, it's going to be fine and great. And now you see there's a lot of ways to do it. So now what I want to do is take a minute to talk about the sauce and see, is there any questions? No, we're good.
Judy Andrews wanted to know, is that a regular oven or a convection oven?
Well, how do I answer that? This is actually, right? This is a convection oven / microwave. So, but you could use either a convection or a standard oven. You just want to do it in the oven. When I did it in the Breville, I don't think that's convection. I think that's regular. Let me see. It doesn't say here. I might have to plug it in. So hopefully that answers your question. I would still do the 350 degrees, or if you want, you could go a little higher, because sometimes the oven changes depending on if you have the fan in the back.
And that would be true for just a traditional oven?
Yeah, I like the 350, but if I was going to do, I could go anywhere between 350 to 400, but I like 350. So anyways, so would the temperature and time be different a regular oven? I would still do the 30 minutes and I would check it halfway. You want to check it at the 15-minute mark, and you can make your adjustment if you feel like, you know what, this is cooking too much or too little, and adjust it that way. But I've found doing it at that temperature in both seems to work. So hopefully that's helpful and not confusing. And this has already been in for 5 minutes. So, okay, so now going to the sauce. You can make your own sauce. And if you do, bravo. Fresh tomato sauce is the way to go. But what I do is I try to make it a little simpler, and I just get this Muir Glen tomato sauce, no added salt. It's literally nothing in here. It's just tomatoes. You can get a pizza sauce, but I would want you to check the ingredients and make sure that you're okay with what they put in a pizza sauce. So this one just says organic tomato puree, water, organic tomato paste, organic onion powder, citric acid, organic garlic powder. That's it. So, we do the best we can. So what I did was I poured this can, and this can is a 15-ounce can, okay? And then what I wanted to do is add some seasonings to it. So I've got black pepper. I've got pepperoni spice from Local Spicery. If you don't know what that is, it's a place called Local Spicery in Northern California, and they make spice blends that are unusual. And I really, really like this one because it tastes like pepperoni. And if you're trying to get rid of that and you miss that flavor, that might be something that you check out. If you don't have access to it, don't worry about it. I will tell you, let's see, does it list what's in here? It's a salt-free blend. It's got smoked paprika, chilies, Anson mustard seed, Anson seed, mustard seed, fennel. So you could maybe make your own. This was fresh basil that I dehydrated. So I have dried basil, I have dried oregano, and then a salt-free, you don't have to, this is optional. You can use Mrs. Dash. This actually we refill, and we get it from Costco. It's the no salt Costco one. And so here you can see all of the spices and seasonings, and we're gonna just pour them right in here. You don't need oil, you don't need salt, you just need flavor. Okay, so let me just mix that up. And I even already did some of the black pepper in here ahead of time. And so that is my sauce mixture. That's it. Now, I just mix that up, and I'm ready to go. Now, if I don't use the whole thing, I freeze it. And you can do it in ice cube trays. Each ice cube tray cube thing is like about a tablespoon. So you can thaw 4 tablespoons or, whatever, however thick you like your sauce. But this way it won't go to waste because this will not last indefinitely in the refrigerator. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to put the sauce aside for now. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to let you know Video 1000 Nights is in the house.
Oh, hello. Welcome. So glad to have you.
And has made red lentil pancakes just last night, as I understand.
Yay, that's awesome. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. So if you decide to make this, you got to let me know what you think. I'd really, really love to hear. Let me check on this. Okay, that still has time. And it says, love your guys' channel. Great job. Oh, thank you so much, so much. And then is it Anne? Anne is here, by the way, loved your email newsletter this morning. Oh, yay, thank you so much. And if you don't know what she's talking about, we do have a newsletter that you can subscribe to. I don't know if you want to put that in the chat if somebody is trying to figure out or tell us where we can get that information. And I'm glad that you're enjoying it. We put out a newsletter once a month. We try not to bombard people, just to kind of check in and share inspiring things that are going on. So how much of each spice? Yes. Okay. Let me read that because I wrote it here. Thank you, Judy. Okay, so we had the 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, no salt. I had a tablespoon. That's a lot, right? A tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, a half a tablespoon of basil, a half a tablespoon of oregano. I did a half a teaspoon of a salt substitute. We happen to use the one from Costco that I refill this bottle with. And then we did 2 teaspoons, if you have it, of the pepperoni spice. You can skip that, of course. And then we did black pepper to taste. So that is what we do. And we mixed it. We set it aside. And so I want to talk about the toppings also. So I'm going to talk about what I've done, and then we're going to talk about unique toppings around the world. And hopefully then we'll be able to kind of stop and check on that pizza. So what I like to do, if you're having a pizza bar and you want people to make their own pizzas, which is really fun, you can get the family involved. You can make the crusts ahead of time and have them all. Or if you don't want to share it with anyone, you can make this. Make a bunch of crusts, freeze some, and it'll be easy. You can just take it out, thaw it out, and then add your sauce and your toppings and then heat it up. That's how I would do it. If it's already completely made, I think it'll come out if you thaw it and then heat it. Maybe not thaw it, just put it directly in. The only hesitation, because I haven't tried it that way, is I would want to make sure that the crust doesn't get soggy in the middle, but it might not. So if you do try that, let me know. So it's what I like to do when I make when I make a pizza that doesn't have any type of cheese, because I don't use cheese. I do like to use nutritional yeast for a cheesy flavor. But if you're not familiar with this, it doesn't look like cheese. It's like a powder, right? So look at this. It's just a powder or like a flake. And so that, might work for some. It works for me and not for others. My husband, getting off of regular cheese, he found this store-bought one called Miyoko's. It's a pourable plant milk mozzarella. He loves this, and it's liquid. And he just pours it on there, and it stays that consistency. So it reminds him of like melted cheese. Now, for me, this isn't going to work because it's got oils and it's got things in it that are not okay for me. But for him, where he is, this is great. And he combines the nutritional yeast and the Miyoko's. Isn't that right, honey?
That's true. That's true, honey. Yes.
Okay. So what I like to do, because I'm not using any type of cheese, if I take the ingredients of the toppings, let's say the red bell pepper, I'm going to show you what I have here. If I take the ingredients and I put it directly on the pizza and put it in there, it tends to get really dry. And that's fine if you like that, but I like it to be kind of soft. So I just take it and cut it up and put whatever I want. And then I do a dry saute. Now, there's mushrooms and zucchini in here, so a lot of water does come. And so what do I have in here? I have mushrooms, zucchini, red bell pepper, onion, fresh garlic, and spinach. You can use anything you want. Oh, and I also have artichoke heart. And so what I have here is just that. So these are raw. So people can, do it if they want to have it raw. You can have it spread out like this, or you can have it ahead of time. But what I have is, these are artichoke hearts. I get them in the freezer and I just let them thaw, and then I chop them up really fine. This is red bell pepper. Here's mushrooms. My son and my other daughter really love pineapple on their pizza. So you can do pineapple or any fruit. Here's the onion. Don't forget your garlic. My husband loves black olives, so he likes to do olives on his pizza, spinach or any greens. And then we, have pepperoncinis, or you can use some crushed pepper flakes if you're into that. And so anyways, that's kind of that. Let me just move these out of the way. Any questions, you guys? Do you think you might want to try this? This has 1 more minute. So I'm going to just see if I could start talking to you about the unique toppings around the world, and things that I thought would be kind of fun to share. So now, let's see. Let's start with Italy, okay? In Italy, aside from fresh basil, grilled eggplant, and zucchini, those make amazing toppings for them. They're savory, they're tender, and they give your pizza that Mediterranean flair. You could certainly use that on any of them. They tend to also add fresh herbs, really good. So what I wanted to share is, we actually had pizza in Italy in a few places, but there was this one place that we went to that was so popular. And it was this tiny little place that we actually had to share a table because it was so packed. And so we met a couple from Korea, and it was really fun and tasty. And I had mine without cheese. Anyways, Japan. How about Japan? So I think it's called shiso leaves. Is anyone familiar with that? They're a bit like mint. They bring like a refreshing citrusy type of kick. You could even try pickled plums. They call those umibashi or something close to that, and you put that on your pizza, and they give a salty, a tangy, a totally unique flavor, a great way to spice things up. And I had the privilege of being in Japan before, and when I was in Japan, I can remember having pizza, but the pizza that I had didn't have those things I just mentioned. They served it with corn, and I found corn everywhere. And so one small pizza, like an individual pizza, was like meant for a family. And so we were a bunch of Americans, and so we kept ordering more and more pizzas. And I think we probably ate all of their pizza. So before I change over, I wanted to ask you, Todd, do you remember the name of that restaurant in Italy?
Gusto.
Gusto. Okay, and it wasn't vegan, but I got mine without cheese. I wasn't gluten-free at the time.
Yeah, it's in Florence.
Yeah, Florence. It was really great.
Fantastic.
So it's something to check into if you find yourself over there, and see if maybe they can make you something that you could eat on your health journey. Another one I'd like to talk about. Oh, but I can't. I'm going to stop and check the pizza, and then we're going to talk about India. Let me just check the pizza here. Oh, it still has plenty of time, but I want to show you guys. Hold on, if I can get this out of here. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I'm having trouble getting this out. There we go. Wow. So it's looking good. It's looking good. And I'm just going to put it down here. So I could continue, right? Or I could carefully, flip it over and turn it over. And I do think I want to do that. This pan is super hot. So let me see if I can just show you how I would do this without burning my hands. Okay. So I would just take this, turn it over because it's kind of sticking. And then I just gently kind of roll. I wonder if you could see this. Gently kind of roll. Don't tear it up. Roll. Fold back the parchment paper. And it should just come right off. And then I can have this side on the top for the last 15 minutes. It smells really good in here. Can you smell it?
Yes, I can. And I'm very much looking forward to eating some.
Yay. And so I'm just take your time with this. There's no rush. You can't mess it up. And you don't have to do this. I just like to do it because I have before. So just make sure not to burn your fingers. And there we go. See? Now I know it's not stuck. Everything is ready to go. I'm going to put that back here. I'm going to throw this back in the oven, and then we're going to get back chatting about what we were chatting about, which are toppings. Hold on. I want to just center that a little bit. There we go. All right, here we go. Back in it goes. Okay. And so I didn't do it perfectly, so it says 13 minutes. And so we are going to go over a little bit. Hopefully you can stay with us, and you'll be able to see the finished product here. So I was going to talk about India. So in India, spiced chickpeas are a fantastic and fascinating topping. They're rich in protein. They have so much flavor. And if you add mint, coriander, or chutney to it, then you get this cool, like spicy, cool combination that they like to put on a pizza. And I was going to say, I sometimes like to take chickpeas and make them and season them and dry them out kind of like a crouton. And I would put that on my pizza too, even after it's done, as an idea. So Middle East, from the Middle East, za'atar spice is an incredible topping. Has anybody ever had that? Do you even know what it is? No? So it's a mixture of thyme and oregano and sesame seeds, and it's supposed to add like this earthy, herby kind of flavor, and they like to pair it with caramelized onions and sprinkle some sumac. Sumac is a spice. I like to use it. It kind of reminds me of a lemon, and then it gives it this tangy kind of twist. It sounds delicious. I haven't had it that way. I'm wondering if anyone else has. Oh, I just wanted to... Yeah, Lisa says, I'm taking a break to check the chat. You're lucky in getting to sample the pizza, Todd.
Yes, I am.
We wish we could share with everyone. And Donna is in the house. Hello, Donna, joining late. Couldn't miss out on pizza. Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. Yeah, and it's moving along, and we're going to be running over today. Mona says, oh, you did. You had it in hummus by a nice lady. Oh, interesting. And so did you like it? I want to know. So Mexico, we'll talk about Mexico and Korea. In Mexico, they tend to do like a refried black beans that can make an excellent pizza sauce base. You can top it with fresh pico de gallo. That would give like the fresh, tangy, salsa-y kind of flavor. And then you've got yourself a fiesta on a pizza. I don't know that they do that, but that's what I'm suggesting. Also Korean, kimchi, right? Have you guys heard of kimchi? It's a fermented cabbage, and it tends to be spicy. You could put that on your pizza. That adds a punch to your pizza, definitely. You can combine it with a sauce called oh God, I hope I don't mess this up. Do you know how to say it?
I do not.
Gochujang?
Spell it.
Gochujang. And I don't know how to spell it. I'm going to just leave it at that. But it's a spicy chili paste for a savory and sweet heat that, can really get your taste buds going. So what about you? What about you guys? Have you tried any unique, globally inspired pizza toppings? Or maybe there's a combination that you've been wanting to try. Pizza is something that's all about creativity. And so I'd love to hear what you guys have come up with. Even if you haven't made it, maybe you're thinking about it right now. So let me know in the chat. Lisa said, oh, I love the Mexican pizza idea. Yeah. Yes. How do you say that, Mona? Oh my gosh. I apologize if I said it incorrectly. I don't want to offend anybody. But anyways, there are, of course, some classic plant-based pizza ingredients that I always keep on hand, which we already talked about and I showed you in here. The caramelized onion idea is a great topping. It's sweet and savory. It adds so much depth to pizza. Now, my husband, right, you're not a fan of onion if it's stringy. Why don't you share about that?
It's just, if it's like a shoestring kind of thing, then yeah, not so much.
So if I slice it and it's not diced, he's like, "Lah." And so it's not about flavor. Why do you do this?
It's just a texture thing. It's like chewing on shoelaces.
Okay. So anyways, I just wanted to say that. But fresh herbs are great. So basil, we talked about oregano, rosemary. Those will bring very robust bursts of flavor to your pizza. And don't forget about seeds. I know this sounds unusual, but you can do seeds on pizza. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds. They add a lot of crunch to your pizza. And like I talked about earlier, you could put the chickpea, which is not a seed, but it can give crunch if you're looking for crunch. When we talk about the chickpea croutons that I mentioned earlier, I just want to mention that those have protein in them. They have iron, magnesium, potassium, vitamin B6. So there are a lot of ways to make a pizza nutritious and exciting, right? So let's just take a peek here. Gochujang. Chang?
Sure.
Gochujang. Is
Gang.
the G
Gang.
is gang?
Gang.
Gang. Gochujang. All right. I hope that is an improvement on what I originally started with. And thank you so much for being patient and kind to help me learn how to say that. Video 1000 Nights says, spinach is really good. Yes, and we have spinach. Spinach is great. Yes. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take the pizza and make the pizza. Because what I do after this comes out, then I put the sauce, I put everything in it, and I put it back in the oven. And we cook it for 10 minutes or however long you want it to cook for, because everything's cooked at that point. It's just a matter of getting it all the same temperature. And so I want to do that. And if you guys are able to hang out a little bit longer, then we can also taste it. So let's do that right now. So this actually has another 5 minutes, but for time's sake, I think I'm going to take it out and go ahead and just get it back in there.
Do it.
Yeah, okay. So I originally wasn't going to use this one. I thought this one would be, well, I could let this one go in. Let's just see. Ooh, look at that. I was going to do one of these, but you know what? Let's just do this one. Okay, so here you have your crust, right? And depending on what you want to take your sauce, put your sauce right on here. And then you can use the back of a spoon to spread it. But whatever you want to do, I like to go pretty close to the edge because even though I like a nice crunch, I think that there can be, too much bread sometimes. So figure out what you like. I like to go as close to the edge as I can so that every bite has a nice taste of everything. Oh my goodness. And Todd tends to like sauce a little saucier than I do. So you do what you do what's best for you. I'm going to do half and half, okay? So I'm going to do some nutritional yeast on the bottom. I'll do it on the whole thing here. And this is just for taste, so you can add it, you cannot add it. Wow, okay. And then do you want to make your own, or do you want to make half on this one? Probably we should do this one half.
However you like to
Yeah,
do it.
I'm just thinking for time's sake.
Yep.
Okay, so here
By the way, we have some clarification on the pronunciation of gochujang.
Gochujang, okay.
Jang, as in J like Joe, Jang rhymes with Tang.
Oh, okay.
That provided by Tanya.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and put, spread this out. This kind of a little bit together. You could use like a tong, but I'm going to go ahead and fill mine up here. However you want, right? However your toppings go. And I'm doing it on my half because I'm not sure, Todd, do you want to come and prepare your half and let everybody kind of see you and see what you like?
I can certainly do that.
Okay. And so that's kind of what I like. I don't know if you're going to use this, so I'm just going to leave it right there. And there
Hello,
he is.
everybody.
There he is.
Back from behind the curtain.
Yes. So go ahead. Now, this is, well, it's not as hot as it was. So I already did the sauce. Hopefully that's good. And I already put nutritional yeast.
Okay.
So do you want to add whatever kind of, what do you do? Do you do the cheese?
Yeah, I'll do
thing
some of
first?
that.
And show what you do. Talk about that.
This is the Miyoko's pourable plant-based mozzarella, which
You shake it real good.
you shake it. Yeah, you can shake it. Just kind of mix it back up.
Try not to get it on my half.
I'm going to try not to get it on her half, and while I'm telling you why I use this. So not only does it taste, it has it tastes very similar to a mozzarella, but it browns nicely in the oven. So it kind of becomes that kind of chewy, cheesy texture also, which is nice.
What you were looking for. And we hope to maybe even at some point make our own, but for now, yeah.
For now, this is what we do.
Okay, what are you going to add to it?
I'm going to add some olives.
You want to cut those up?
Yeah, I'm going to cut up a few olives.
Okay, and he likes the black olives. You could do green olives. You could do whatever.
Okay, you can keep talking.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm just watching you. So I have all my veggies in here. I might also take, I might put a couple pieces of pineapple in mine. And these are bigger chunks than I normally would do. Let me get a knife. Now, these pieces of pineapple, you could certainly do fresh pineapple. This was from the freezer, so we just took it out and let it thaw. And then I just like to cut it up a little bit, depending on the size that you want. This is not the greatest knife to be doing with that. And there we go. Is that enough? No, you would put more.
I would.
Yeah, put a couple more.
Okay.
And then, if you want, would you put some crushed pepper?
I might.
So if you like that, if you were going to put pepperoncinis, would you do that now before it goes in the oven, or would you like to do that?
I would. I would probably put some on there.
Okay, so let's do that. And these are store-bought pepperoncinis, and but we have a ton of serrano peppers in our freezer. So if you like spice, you can add any kind of jalapeno or anything. I mean, the sky's the limit with whole food plant-based. You have so many options, so many wonderful options in the fruit and vegetable section. In fact, If you don't like the spinach or you want more, add kale. And when this comes out of the oven, I'm going to put regular raw stuff that's behind me on here as well. I'm going to add salad and arugula, and you could do sprouts. I mean, really, even avocado, slices of avocado I like to do after it comes out of the oven. And so that looks good. So anything else you want to add to yours? Yeah.
No, I think I'm good.
You're good?
Looks fantastic.
Okay, so
you know what? Maybe I will add some bell pepper.
ooh, look at you go. Now that one's raw, but you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
This one is like cooked so that it's not, it gives it more of that softer.
Yep.
You're good with that.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Okay.
Let her rip.
So I just want to show the pan is already cooled now. So this is what our pizza looks like. You can make anything you want. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in here, and it's basically just to heat it up. So
Video 1000 Nice is asking, Jennifer, is it hard for you to have tasty vegan foods around?
So I'm assuming that you're referring to some of the vegan foods.
Speaking of like the Miyoko stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes, yes, it depends. But if I take some time and really think about my journey, which is different than your journey or anybody else's journey, and what works for me, and where did I come from, and what is my goal here? For me, I have to go back to my why. And my why for me is an emotional connection within. And I've done a lot of research and soul searching and self-searching, and quality of life is the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing, because mine was taken away from me. And I got it back. And so this isn't going to serve me because of the ingredients in it. And there's sunflower oil, there's sea salt, there's sunflower lectins, there's things in here that aren't going to serve me, right? So it causes inflammation. I have problems with sinuses and surgeries and all those kinds of things. And so if I take the time to take a step back and remember why in the first place is this for me, then it makes it easier. Plus, I just make sure that I'm full. If I'm looking at his food or something else, I'm probably hungry and my needs aren't being met. So I need to reevaluate, and I can even trick not to say that I'm tricking myself, but I can say to myself, once you're full, if you really want that within myself, we can discuss it, right? And most of the time I'm not. I don't want it. So hopefully that answers your question, and maybe that inspires somebody, or you can relate. There was a time also where I was kind of, I was kind of irritated. I was upset that I was tired and I had to make everything from scratch if I wanted it to be the way I wanted it. And at that time, you would say, well, I'm going to the drive-thru. I'll be right back. And I thought, that is terrible that you can go to the drive-thru. I wanted to go through a drive-thru and have someone hand me my food. And so I felt there were times when I felt like I was not being, I don't know what the word is. What
cheated out of convenience?
I don't want to say cheated, because I wasn't. In the end, I think this is my opinion. In the end, I think you're the one that was being cheated in the long run.
Absolutely.
You're cheating yourself, but that's your choice.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, yeah.
And I've done it too, right?
Sure.
So
I mean, everything, it comes with a price, right? Running out and not having to worry about manufacturing your meal. It comes with a price.
Yeah. So anyways, hopefully that answers your question. And I know that it still resonates, the why for me, because even when I talk about it, I could feel the emotion start to come back up. And so I know that it's still right for me.
So Mona says, Jennifer, go to Dylan's.
Go to Dylan's. That's a great idea. And some of you may be wondering, who's Dylan, right? Well, your world, and he is local
He is
to our
local.
area. That's a great idea. I don't know if he'd answer the door. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Okay, let's just see. Couple questions here or comments, and then we'll take that out and taste it. So Tanya said, "Oh, so she was talking to Mona." Okay, let's see. That's me right now, Jennifer. I have to make it all from scratch, and my sad eating husband goes to the drive-through. Thank goodness it's not vegan, so I don't want any of it, but still, yeah. You're not alone. You're not alone in that. And everybody is on their own journey, and there might come a time maybe when he, wants to make a change. I was shocked and very excited and happy when I saw Todd coming around and was a little interested in stuff.
Yeah, and in fairness, it was not the flip of a switch for me either, right? It took, and it still takes.
It still is.
I mean, I'm still not where you are in the 100% committed space.
I don't want anybody to compare themselves to anybody else.
Right.
Yeah. So just where you were to where you are now and where you're heading, I would rather have you look at that. And to say 100% to me, even if I try my best, I'm imperfect. I do my best, but I have my moments. So don't think I don't. Yeah.
Yep.
So I just want to say hi, Tracy Lynn. Good to have you here. We are almost ready to cut that and try it. Mona says, I can't remember. Oh, can these be frozen? Yes, they can be frozen. The crust itself can be frozen. I've never made it like that and froze it, although I bet you could, like if you had leftovers. And the only thing that I was thinking about that was making me hesitant about it is that would it create any kind of sogginess in the crust? But I would say go for it. Yeah, you can, like all of these. We're not going to eat all these crusts, so I will freeze them definitely. And then when I take them out, you could put them right in the oven, 350 degrees, and you can warm them up and then add the toppings, or you can add everything and put it in there for a little bit longer. That's what I would do. And how much time? I guess it just depends on what you like until it's hot because it's cooked. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe longer if it's frozen. Tanya says, I hope so. He ate only plant-based for a year. Oh, really? Or so. And then he reverted back and even more
sad.
Oh, and even more sad. He says he's too old and doesn't want to change. You know what? Yeah. I wonder why he reverted back. Was it just a slow progression? It's not easy. It's really not. We are, fighting an uphill. I don't want to say it like that. We're the minority for sure. When you think of all of the things that we're bombarded with, right? If you watch TV, the commercials, the billboards, the radio, anywhere, my goodness, you go even to a hardware store and it's just right in your face and it's easy to get caught off guard. And it is an effort. So good for him for doing it for a year. He knows how it feels. So maybe there's hope. Maybe he'll be back. Yeah. So, Tracy Lynn, could you please tell me what you have made? I would love to. We are making and have made Red Lentil Pizza Crust. We're making pizzas. And these doughs are not bread, but red lentil and quinoa crust. And we're turning it into a super delicious, full of nutrients and satisfying pizzas. And so I hope you watch the replay and we'll try it as well. So Donna says, so appreciate your honest shares and inclusiveness. Everyone is on their journey. No perfection required. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, it's even when you think you've mastered it, I got to this place. It's evolving. So you want to just stay, and continue to move forward. At least that's how I think about it, because if I go, okay, well, I reached the destination, now what? You don't want to go off the road or whatever. So Tanya says his friends and family made him feel like a weirdo. Oh, yes, that's common. And he said he'd rather eat what he wants, and when his time comes, it comes. Makes me worry, but I have to just focus on me and not force him. I did that. Did I not say that to you?
You did.
Do you want to share?
And you're 100% right in that the harder you push, the harder
push.
I understand, but the harder you push, the harder I push back, right? And so,
yeah. I actually had said to Todd, I said, I don't care what you're eating. And I know that for me, that's hard to say it that way because it sounds mean and cruel. But for him, that's a good way for him to hear what I'm saying. That resonates well with him. He understands it. It's very clear. Right?
I need very blunt communications.
And, it's not that I didn't care, because I care, but I can't do his work for him. I got to take care of this body. Nobody's going to take care of me except me, the way that I need to be taken care of. Same with you. So I just did what I needed to do. I put these blinders on, like the horses when they can just focus on what they're doing and not worry about the noise around me. And if somebody asked a question or wanted to try something, hey, I was more than happy to share, but I understand it. It can be very difficult. And I hope that your husband, doesn't have any kind of health things like I had gone through, where that screamed so loud that I would have done anything, truly. I think it's in a weird way, it's easier when you have a constant health thing that reminds you. Like for Todd, you had high blood pressure and you were on medication and you never felt anything, right?
That's right.
So for him, it was like, I went to the doctor. They said I have high blood pressure. I don't feel any different. I'm fine. If they didn't tell him, he wouldn't have known. But going down the line, you don't want to have, any kind of horrific experience.
Yeah, and I started down this path really just to see if I could get off my medication, which I did, in literally, measured in weeks.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, and we knew because why? What was happening to you?
Well, as I started to eat more whole food, plant-based, and was still on my blood pressure
Yeah, do you want to come
medication.
here so people could see you? Oh, and you do that while I get this out.
I will. I'll fill in the gap.
This is ready. Okay.
So yeah, for me, it was about just trying to see if I could get off my blood pressure medication.
No.
And the way we figured that out was I was getting dizzy while eating plant-based and taking my blood pressure medication. So I started to gradually wean myself off until I ultimately just cut it off, and then monitored my own blood pressure, and I've been off it ever since. So
yay! Congratulations!
Thank you.
Look at this! It's ready, you guys! It's ready. So Todd did one half. I did one half, and I'm gonna put it down here. You would want to let it rest for about 5 minutes or so. We're going to cut it. I'm going to add some other toppings to mine, and then we're going to taste it.
Yeah, we are.
Yay! So, okay, this is a little wet here, but I'm just
going to move this?
Yeah, that was just so I made sure to tell people the correct recipe. Okay, so I'm going to just put that there. What does it smell like?
It smells like heaven in a circle.
Okay, so you can use a pizza cutter. You can use what are these things called that we have?
Scissors.
They're like these shear things. We could use these to cut pizza. Have fun with it. We have some fun pizza cutter things, like these. We even have one that's a monkey on a bicycle.
We do have a monkey on a bicycle.
I wonder if we still have.
That's
here
he
is.
That's a lot of fun.
Look, you guys.
Okay, yeah, he's a monkey on a bicycle. He's just fun. on. Where did we get the monkey on a bicycle?
I think I got him at some weird store.
You have to do it sideways so people can see him do his bicycle.
Oh, I was going to let them. Okay.
So here we go. Ready? Watch
Okay,
this.
so you hold him,
Mhm,
right?
And he pedals.
Oh my gosh.
Pedal away, monkey. There he goes. See him? Look at him go. It's not the greatest pizza cutter in the world, but sure is a lot of fun.
Okay, so that's that. Let me do it this way, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut it this way too.
Let's see.
This one's a little easier
he
for
takes
me
his
to
man,
do.
He goes to the gym daily, so he thinks he's being healthy, but his diet is Diet Coke all day, chips, Popeyes, pizza. Yeah. Well, you can still have pizza. Just with a red lentil crust.
Yeah, and everybody's got to get there on their own terms.
100%.
Yeah, and I wish him and you and the family situation, the best, because it's so hard. It's just so hard, especially when there's family peer pressure and you don't get the support. But having you there, maybe if he wants to, he'll be he'll be
Not
ready.
that kind of pizza, huh?
He'll be ready at some point. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have some plates for us.
Plates?
I got some plates.
We're just going to eat it right off of the cutting board.
Well, I want to make mine. I want to add a few things to mine. So I'm just going to take this slice. Look at that. I'm going to put that on here. And then I'm going to add behind me here. I've got some. This is pre-washed. I also have this big salad here.
Colleen's here.
I could take it. Hey, Colleen, so glad you're here. And we're just about to taste. So I like to just, do stuff like that and make sure that I have my greens. And then I've got some of this arugula that I bought at the store. These are microgreens. Some people are able to grow their own. I haven't tried growing microgreens. I do like to sprout.
Well, you try it.
And I don't know if you want to add any of the greens to yours.
I'm just going to go with the way I made it to start and build as I consume.
Okay. And then also, I like a little bit of avocado on mine.
Do it.
I'm getting crazy. Getting crazy. So let me do that. I'm just going to cut a little slice here.
Okay.
And
You're killing me. I'm sitting here staring at
I'm sorry. You don't have to wait. But
No, I always wait.
That is true. I don't know how I'm going to bite into this, but
Tanya loves arugula and puts it on her pizza.
Yay! It's so good, isn't it? You can even put like some of this other stuff on here that what am I thinking of? Anything, any of this. Tomato is what I was thinking. Fresh tomato. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can handle mine. Ready?
Do it. Let's go.
Gosh.
Come on. I'm going in.
Wow. What do you think?
I'm thinking we're going to need more crust. We're going to need more.
You know what I like about the crust? Even with all the stuff I put on it, it really does hold. And this one could have been in the oven a little bit longer prior to putting it, but it holds its shape. And
it's not doughy or spongy or weird. It's it's pizza crust. It doesn't have a weird texture or taste. It's just pizza crust.
And I've got a lot of spice going on. I think the pepperoni spice is good. Yeah. So, okay, there's a lot of stuff happening in my mouth right now. But I want to thank you so much, everybody. Let's just see.
Tanya came in late. What's the crust made out of?
The crust is made out of quinoa and red lentils. Red lentils and quinoa. You got to watch the replay. I share the whole recipe and you try it. And it's such a great, delicious way to get your beans in, your lentils, I should say. And we've been enjoying it. It's great. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for staying late with us. And I hope that this was not only fun and inspiring, but I also hope that you learned some fun stuff, with some of the fun facts that we shared. And let me know if you try it, what your thoughts are, and or what you're going to put on your pizza. Oh, we saw that, Todd. What did they see?
Maybe walk off with a piece of pizza.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yep. He gets to have it. So, oh, yeah. So, Donna says, looks delightful. Thank you for sharing. Of course. Thank you. Lisa says, you'll be making it for sure. Yay. And Tanya says, can you post the crust recipe? Yes, he said he will. Probably will put it on our website. We can put it on our website. And we'll put a link to the website in the show notes here. But give him a little time to do that. Maybe in an hour?
When I'm done eating pizza.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And Jill says, thank you, Jennifer and Todd. Thank you. And Judy says, thanks, Jennifer. We'll hopefully try this soon. I hope so. Marilyn says, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you being here. And even with pizza, you can eat your greens. Don't forget to eat your greens. And don't forget, give plants a chance, everyone. We'll see you next time. Take care. I so appreciate everybody. Bye for now.